Good day. I am in the town of Morinville, north of Edmonton and north of St. Albert. And I thought from Google Maps it looked like there was a nice path system starting out at the leisure center here in Morinville. So I thought I'd give it a shot. It's about 3 degrees, bit of a breeze, so it's a little bit chillier than in town because we're out in the open here. These look like nice paved trails. Some icy spots right now, but the warm weather is taking care of that. So let's go for a walk. Now, I didn't really map out how long this trail system was, but it looks like it kind of takes you through town at the very north end of town, so we'll see. Lots of wide open space here. I'm not sure if my wife and I will ever move. Never say never, but if we do, I think it's certainly going to be in a smaller environment than a million-person city, I think, but close enough to amenities. We're not 500-person town people for sure, but you know, 20, 30,000 people. Usually there's all the box stores and stuff that you would need. Never really spent any time in Morinville in the past. My wife's got family out here, and been established in this area for a long time. I actually got started before noon on a weekend day. Look at me go. In future, I'd really like to be getting out at 10 in the morning or so. And in the hot days of summer, that would probably be my intent. Early in the morning or late at night when it's hot. Because Mundane Man and heat do not go well together. They start to melt. That's a beautiful sky. Good old sunny Alberta. Back to the way it should be compared to most of this winter. I've done so much walking on softer snow for the last couple months that walking on this pavement, I can actually feel it in my knees. Need to beat them into shape for walking on pavement. The leisure center is a fair distance away from the east edge of town here. My watch didn't vibrate, but I'm for sure it's close to a kilometer outside of the last part of the residential here. I can hear a little bit of traffic from the highway to the south of me, and traffic in town and Highway 2, which kind of cuts through to the west of Morinville. But overall, I give the peace and quiet out here, let's say 9.5 out of 10. Okay, we might have already hit a dead end on this path at the north end of town. Let's see. No, this little piece of fence fooled me. We're right at the north end of town now, and the path continues. That's what I thought when I looked at it from Google Maps, but you never know. Nobody out here using the paths right now, which surprises me. And also a nice feature here is they do light this path. Looks like it's lit for as far as I can see. So if you're out late in the afternoon or in the evening, you can feel somewhat secure that the path is lit. I see they do have shortcut paths leading you into the neighborhoods, so it gives you good access to this main trail back here. Not sure if this is a creek bed or just was left there for water runoff. but obviously it gets water in the summer. I like walking the paths in these small towns. Gives you a greater appreciation for the town itself and small town lifestyle. I don't know, is it true that everybody knows your business? Or is it just as sheltered in the city where you hardly know your neighbors anymore? I'm on the fence about either one of those things. For some reason, this part of the trail is a little bit more snow covered. Maybe it got drifted with all the wind that we had and they didn't scrape it down right down to the asphalt. I don't know if this trail is going to allow me to make a loop to the south and then back east. We'll see. May end up doubling back the same way we came. These paths require your dogs to be on a leash, but there is, I think, open areas defined for a dog park. As I recall from the map, I think it might be way down at the end of this part of the trail. Maintained a pretty good pace, so my might sound a little bit out of breath. The sound of the highway does echo through these open areas a little bit. Not sure if you can hear it through the microphone on my phone, but it's there. So if you want to live here, I suggest you be at the far east part of town. Not sure what housing like is over there. They look a little older, but just slightly less highway noise over there than here. Some new development here. It's good to see these small towns growing. Maintains their viability. I'm not sure what the main interest in living in Morinville is, if there's local manufacturing here or it's just a good gateway community to North Edmonton. I'm about 2.5 or 3 kilometers into my walk, so I haven't quite reached the very west part of town yet. This is a very stylish and modern looking mobile home park. They certainly don't look like those rickety old tin cans that you used to see. I don't think these are as cheap as they used to be either, now that they look better constructed anyways. But it might be a entry point into the market if you get a newer one. And I guess it depends on what fees the park charges. It would almost be nicer to have a little 2 or 3 acre plot of land you could put one of these on and save for the future and build a house if you wanted to. They're actually quite nice looking. Yes, I do sound surprised. Remnants of time gone by. That storage tank just sitting in the trees. The trail seems like it goes on forever. Old Banyan rail line. It'd be neat like what they did with the Iron Horse Trail and turn it into a usable path for ATVs. So this is the off-leash part of the trail over here. They got a bit of an open space you can let your dogs run around. Looks like a skateboard park here. Keep your kids busy in the spring, summer, and fall. Okay, Morinville F&G pond. Enhanced fishing. So this pond is off to the left here. F&G. You know, when you say that fast, it sounds ruder than it is. So I think this part of the path might be a loop we'll see. Looks like it loops around the pond. And it is in parallel with Highway 2 over there. I don't know about you guys, but I'm sweating. Yeah, this whole path system has been lit the whole way around. Bet it looks pretty on a snowy winter night. I think I'd rather wait till next year to discover that, though. I think I am done with winter. This is the very northwest part of this path system. And Runkeeper says I've gone 4 kilometers. I'm going to be honest, it felt further than that. Now we're just going to double back. This, like I said, this path makes a loop on the other side of the pond. As with most small towns I walk in, any people I come across are always willing to say hello and acknowledge you. So far, for the very few people I've seen, a friendly town. And we're on the other side of the pond. Should get some good pictures out of here. If there's a clip where it just looks like I'm standing there focused on something, it's usually where I'm trying to get a thumbnail. And it also means I forgot to take that clip out when I was editing. Let's face it, folks, these aren't Academy Award-winning videos, so you get what you pay for. Even with the highway right next to here, it's really not that noisy. You get greater noise in the city. And that's not a hugely busy highway, right now anyways. Nice gazebo area and picnic area at the south end of the pond. Okay, well, let's continue south here and see where this takes us. And they do have washrooms where I just nipped in for a wee. No direct lighting on this part of the trail, but I'm going to assume that maybe those street lights make the trail brighter than without having anything. Well, this is their outdoor sport park. Lots of ball diamonds, playground, that type of thing. And I'm sure the rec center is where the ice would be for hockey and whatever else they might have in there. So I haven't come across any other arenas from that one. Small towns like this, which you're not far from the city by any means, but the more you have to do for kids and families, the better. Last thing you need is bored kids. But sometimes they need to be bored too and not shuttled here, there, and everywhere for different activities. Sometimes boredom just generates some kind of creativity. I know we used to go out to my sister and brother-in-law's farm, and we'd be having coffee or lunch or whatever, and the kids would be in the living room watching TV, and I'm like, you got a whole farm here. Go out, find some trouble, find something to do. And when I say trouble, I mean safe trouble. But there's so much more you could be doing than watching TV that you can do at home. Go hop on the back of a pig. Go ride a cow, see what happens. But they weren't really farm people, so that might have been my dream. This is pretty much the most western part of town. And it may turn into urban exploring if this path connects with the main drag. But we'll see. I keep saying that. We have no choice but to see because we keep heading in the same direction. The other day I was complaining that my knees and shins and thighs were cold. Today, with the sun beating down on my black pants, they're actually hot. Again, it's about +5, I think, right now. Kind of reached the end of the line here. No posted trail walks, so let's just hit the residential here for a bit. See where we end up. Let's just jaywalk here and head towards the main drag. It's good and sloppy out now. Provincial building here. We have a courthouse too around the corner. Okay, walking down the main drag in Morinville, which is 100th Ave or Grandin. Quite a bit busier here. If I feel the need, I'll duck into the residential a block to the north and walk peacefully through there. Train would have gone through back in the day. I was way at the north of that track, at the edge of town, and it carries on that way. Still got the lights up, I don't know why. Guess you never know if they're going to run a train through there again. Nice old 50s Chevy there. Not sure exactly what year, but looks like it could be a driver. Part of this is I'm dodging a lot of big puddles. A lot of the catch basins are plugged with ice. Like I said, this is kind of their main street, 100th Ave, but actually not overly busy. You know, it's a steady flow of traffic, but not too annoying. A few historic looking buildings back in there. This might be where I should get off the beaten path here and see what those are all about. There's the Morinville Museum. And over here, this is the Catholic church that was burnt down from arson. Religion and politics aside, it's a shame. That was a very historic and nice looking church. I see they're well on the way to rebuilding it, but will never be the same. Well, let's go in behind of these buildings, see what we can see. So we're now kind of in the more historic part of Morinville. Basically where this town started. Barely see it through the window, but looks like they got a nice Model A in there. Might have to check out this museum someday. My wife hates museums, so we don't go to them very often. Don't know what the history of this building is, but it's a museum now. There's no signage that I found to say what its history was. I want to guess convent? Correct me if I'm wrong, if you know anything about Morinville. These look like Armed Forces married quarters from back in the day. That's what they remind me of anyways, from what I saw at what used to be Curry Barracks down in Calgary. Let's check out this wackadoodle place called Fable Gardens. Built like a storybook or enchanted forest type building. Nifty noodle. Kind of gives Hobbit vibes too. Now I'm in a much less exciting part of Morinville. Looks like a big seniors housing complex here. And then regular residential over there. Look at that seniors complex there. I think that's a hospital there. Is that what they call from farm to table? You go from the farm to the old folks' home and then into the morgue. That's a little morbid. Circle of life. I take that back. I think this is the high school. Ignore my circle of life comment. I found it funny though. Okay, I've run out of sidewalk here. So, I think I'll go into this residential neighborhood and see if I can pick up a trail again. 2 layers of clothing, totally unnecessary. Took my jacket off because I am sweating like a dog. Kind of turned around here, but no matter what, the sun is to my right. So that means I am heading east, which is basically the direction I need to go. It's a nice residential neighborhood here. Maple Brook villas with condos. Single family homes, some with triple garages. Might have to check prices when I get home. Again though, a lot of times they aren't much cheaper than where we are, if even cheaper at all. Okay, I'm gonna have to break trail through this field. Not really breaking trail, it's been walked through before. I'm just curious how much I'm gonna sink. Not very packed down, so not too many people stupid enough to come this way. Made it. For the most part, I stayed on top of the snow. Now I gotta get my bearings and figure out how to get back to the car. I think I've had enough of Morinville for one day. Holy lightning, that sun on my back is incredible. I don't know what the temperature is now, but I am like hot. Guess you get accustomed to one climate and then immersed into another in 2 days, and it takes time for the body to adjust. Guess this is a sign of the current times, but I have yet to see one single family house for sale in the walking that I've done in these neighborhoods. Now, I didn't stay a lot in the neighborhoods, but yeah, there's very few houses for sale. Certainly a seller's market right now. See, to me, that is a more practical time frame for playground zones. The idiots in our city set them from 7:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. And A, in the winter, nobody's around in a park or a school. And B, even after 8 p.m. there's nobody in the parks. Our city councils get their heads up their asses. Same with our city managers. I suppose everyone can argue that their city is managed by a bunch of socialist humps, but Edmonton seems to be fraught with them and kind of zigging and zagging. East and then north and then east and then north. Something tells me maybe I should have stayed on the main drag. Trying to find a connector path to the one I was to the north. Gotta be getting pretty close to the edge of town though. There's a house for sale, small one. This is kind of the 70s and 80s vintage of housing in Morinville. Hey, back on track. Ever wonder where your poo goes in Morinville? Well, it ends up there and then it's pumped into the river. Just kidding. Yeah, we're right back on the east end of town. That's the rec center back over there. and they never continued the sidewalk this way. They kind of just started a new one over here. Walking on the hard surfaces, I mentioned my knees, but also feel it in my ankles too. Mind you, I'm probably up to 7 or 8 kilometers right now, so a good walk. We got about probably another half kilometer to go here. Morinville is in Sturgeon County, which also encompasses Fort Saskatchewan, I believe, and St. Albert are all in Sturgeon County. More than that as well, but those are the ones I can think of off the top of my head. Overall, Morinville looked like a fairly well-maintained town from what little I saw of it. And people's houses, for the most part, look well kept. A tribute to the Canadian military here. And a light armored vehicle 3. Must mean there was a 2 and a 1 before it. Originally named the Kodiak. We might not be a military power, but we certainly got people that fear not to protect our country. Okay, that felt like a good long walk. I'm even sweating. Let's check how we did when we get closer to the car, which is 200 meters away. Okay, that was 9.33 kilometers in just under 2 hours. So not a bad pace, 4.5 kilometers an hour. Good long walk. Nice town here, and would certainly do it again. Until the next one.